I will try to use this voice. Yesterday I was probably overdosing with networking. Can you hear me okay with this voice? At least you have a different version from yesterday. Yesterday you heard my real voice. This is my after networking voice. Okay. You probably have noticed that one of the things that I like in life is to tell stories. Anybody that stays with me like 5 minutes has to hear at least 6 stories. So, I will start with a story. How I started with this thing about digital marketing. Around 1997, I started working in e-commerce projects. I had to talk with companies and say things like this: you have to have a website. At that time, the reaction that I got from companies was, are you stupid or what? I will not post my information about my clients, my products. My competition will know everything about me. I will be out of business. This was what I had to face at the end of the 90s. This was the idea about digital marketing. In 2001, I was invited to do something about something very original. Marketing Management Executive course had a module called e-marketing. And that was really a kind of joke. Other teachers over there would say, well, e-marketing, that is for children, or things like that. And actually it was, for me, it was a very nice experience because I started teaching at the university. At that time I was age 30 and I was like a kid compared with all the others, because all the others were older guys, 50, 60, with the beer, the pipe, the jacket with the elbow protections. And I didn't look at all like a college professor. Well, a lot of years passed from that, and in 2009, I published a book in Portugal, unfortunately only available in Portuguese, by decision of mine actually, that was about digital marketing. I did it in 2009 and I really had an interesting sense of timing, because at that point, at that precise point, there was a crisis and people started making questions, difficult questions. Some years ago, I was in a conference in Cape Town. And I was presented to one guy that, believe me, didn't impress me. First impression that we were talking yesterday, well, awful. Because, think about this. He had these shirts that looked like Big Bang Theory, okay, but really, really bad. And really nerdy. And every time he would say something that he would find funny, he would laugh at it, like. So I was like, this is strange. But I was acquainted that this guy was dealing with scenarios, so megatrends. So what is going to happen in the future? He is a consultant of the American government, South African government, British government. Basically, he's called to come there and say, oh, look, what will be the future? And he said, what's the future? And he says because he doesn't look into only one variable. When you want to see the future of the world, you have to be systemic. So he looks to several things, and sometimes he thinks that we cannot imagine why they connect. And for me, what had impact was, in his presentation, he talked about a study that I think that is quite remarkable if you think about marketing. And it has nothing to do with marketing. There is a company that you might have heard about it. Have you heard about Durex? Oh, you have it in Bulgaria. Okay. So for those that haven't heard it, Durex is a condom company, and now it's diversifying. Let's say they are providers of drugs. So, they did a study that is a very interesting study during 10 years. They studied the frequency of sexual relationships by age groups. Now I think, what the hell this has to do with money? And they arrived to the conclusion that in all age groups, except one, the frequency of sexual relations had dropped. The one that went up was, can you guess? Over 60. Our friend, being clearly over 60, when he said that, he couldn't help himself. And why is that? Do you have any idea why? Exactly. Viagra, Cialis, and others like these. And why is this important? Let's return to my childhood. People were like 70 or very old, 60, very old. Why? Because, and we are all adults, so we can talk like this freely. When you think about a person, when the sexual life of a person finishes, what is next? Basically death. Right? It's the next big thing coming. There is no much more fun. So, your behavior is completely different if you think, okay, there's nothing to it. So you see that nowadays, how people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, for instance, dress. No longer the same old suit, old dress, black colors, dark colors. The cars that they drive, okay? No longer that old car, bringing it into gigs. By the way, what they carry with them, cellulars, old-time smartphones, iPads. Unbelievable. So, we have a change in demographic that is very, very important to acknowledge. That we have a market that expanded. And by the way, there is one thing that is unavoidable. We all will arrive at that age, and we will be different old people, completely different from the other generations. And also, there is another thing that is important, is that the idea, the perception of life duration. So, when my father was born in 31, his perception of what he would be living would be, if he would drive to 60, it would be nice. He's now 83. He's driving his own car. He's actually now in Spain. He drove there, probably driving back alone. At 83, to imagine that at 83 would be like crazy. But he's doing that every 3 months. He goes back and forth. Nothing special. It's normal. Actually, he started to have a computer at 78 with internet and everything. Now I was trying to convince him to have a tablet instead of a computer. So this is changing also the way we do our how we do choices in life, because how we save money, how we spend money. So also think about this. You can have somebody that is. It seems that I like surf, but it's not the case. We can have a surfer of 60 years old living in a place where there's no beach. It's quite normal. Why? Because now transportation is easy. You have different kind of interests, so it's normal. So we pass from mass communication to interactive communication, like I was saying, talking with customers instead of talking to customers. And this is the part that scares all the companies, is
I have been talking about digital marketing, so great, better metrics, better results, less costs, this is fantastic. But I have this huge wall that I have faced for many, many years that is called vanity. Because people, I cannot show off the Google ad, I cannot show off a video because my peers don't see that video. If I put that same video on TV, they will see it. If I put it on YouTube, they don't. We remember yesterday, we are addicted to oxytocin. Oxytocin is given by our peers. Nobody will give us oxytocin because they made a purchase using Google Ad. It doesn't feel good. Nothing. Having that phone call asking about the model. That's why you have some campaigns that are with celebrities. You always might ask if that was not the dream of that marketing director to meet that celebrity. So I have to scare companies. It is the only way to get digital marketing going. Terror. Before, content was generated by content. Content, do some press releases, but the content was generated inside the company. Nowadays, any employee of the company is a PR officer. Any consumer is a PR officer, for good or bad. And that really blows the mind of the people in the company. They are really scared that anybody can post things on Facebook about it. That's why we are not in social media, because we don't want to have comments about our friends. Smart move, very smart. Because when you are not, people don't talk about you. That's so true. Also, we pass from expert recommendations by seeing a guy very well dressed in television saying, well, this product is the best because according to our test, this thing was bought for it. We prefer the mechanic that we use for our car to say this product is fantastic. He's not an expert, but he's a consumer just like me. That's why Facebook is so important. Because of that, and because Facebook is, we return to that, behaviors and interests, is the biggest database in the world of behaviors and interests. And funny thing, you might not post anything on Facebook. You might not like anything on Facebook. But by being there and being friends with people, I can guess what you like. Because there is something that we do as humans. We tend to surround us with people that have more or less the same taste as us. So we interact more with them than with others. And you probably have noticed that when we go to Facebook and you see your friends, they are not in alphabetical order. It's interaction about it. And sometimes it's not, you might think, but I'm not messaging, I'm not liking things so much of these people. Why are they so up? They are watching. So it's very funny. You can see some patterns. So, before top to bottom strategy to make an image of it, you have a group of people in a room that earn huge salaries, and they are doing exercise like this. Okay, our consumer that actually earns very low salary, he will think that this product is like this, and he'll use like that. They don't have. We cannot ever put really in the shoes of others. We might try, but we will fail. Nowadays, we have the possibility to establish a strategic relationship with our consumers, with our customers, and get more information from them. We pass from a world of audiences that is cost per 1,000 views. That was in all marketing, and it still is. Our ad on TV yesterday reached 3 million people. And, 3 million people. That's it. We shouted to 3 million people. With the crisis, with the financial crisis, CFOs started to have a little bit more power in companies and started to make interesting questions. What is the return of investment? That's campaign. And of course, our marketing directors couldn't ever say, well, I did it because I have low self-esteem. And I need a boost. By the way, I really advise you, if you want to have a laugh for 12 minutes in a row, check this out. It's a video on YouTube that is called The Truth About Advertising. It is, but you have to be prepared to hear it well, because the dialogues are remarkable. 12 minutes of constant laughs. I can assure you. I didn't do it very well. It's nice. But you will understand what I'm talking about, vanity. So, let's talk a little bit about trends to wrap this up. These, for me, are the 4 main trends, because that is a crystal ball, and many times people say, what will be the future? I think as much as we try, we never guess the future. We can see some trends, but the way that they will develop will be always surprising. And that's fun. Because if we would know what is coming next, always, it would be a very boring thing. It's like being in the cinema and somebody says, oh, you know how the movie will end? It's not good. So, it's good to be surprised. But we can see some trends. First trend is just in time. The customer wants more and more to be answered immediately. So, if you go into digital marketing, if you go to social media, be prepared to answer. Have procedures, have people prepared to answer. And by the way, there is one thing that I find very, very funny, that it's like a test that you can do in any company. Let's imagine that we have the opportunity to present our product to an audience like this, 100 people. Nice hotel, and we said we'll have this opportunity. I bet that the CEO, marketing director, sales director will say, yeah, I will go there. And then you ask, okay, and who is responsible for all the web connections, let's say, Facebook page, other communities as well. And you will find that is the youngest guy in the company, maybe even not even paid for that. It's like having a house that has beautiful security system in the front and has an open door in the back. So if it's to talk with 100 people like this, of course, CEO, general manager will be here. But if it's to talk with thousands or millions of people, we take the kid. It's really stupid. But it happens in so many companies across the world, it's unbelievable. For instance, nowadays, when there is a crisis in a company, what a responsible CEO does, a press release, or sends an email to the employees. Seldom you see a CEO saying, switch the camera, I'm going to post it on YouTube. I'm going to explain the best way I can to my customers, to all my stakeholders, why we are going to overcome this situation. Remember what I said yesterday. 93% of communication is non-verbal. When you send an email, when you send a press release, you are eliminating 93% of your communication. How many times you receive an email from a person that you don't like, and you start reading between the lines? That is the problem. I believe that it should be like, if you are recruiting for a CEO in a company nowadays, you should do video testing for these guys. These guys have to be prepared to face a camera and to explain why this product will kick the competition, why we will overcome this crisis, why the profit dropped, but it will go up next quarter. You have to be able to do so, and not do it only on paper. Because on paper, it's very easy. Because you might not believe it and say it. Time. How many of you did this morning? With a smaller gadget, probably. It's funny that nowadays we reach people in different moments. Brands are there. This guy can be gaming, can be seeing the news, posting on Facebook, answering a Skype call. You never know where they are answering. Yeah, I was not busy. Hold on for a moment. See how people change their behavior. We are freaks about time perception nowadays. We have, can you wait for 2 minutes immediately? And the 2 minutes pass. Because time for us is like, if we have, nowadays we don't use time every time, we get crazy. So, in a way, it's good. That's why, for instance, apps are so important, because it creates a connection with the customer. One click, and we are in the company. Space. Some of you remember this. Star Trek. I grew up with all these science fiction things. I was completely mad about this. Nowadays, I really don't like this. That Star Wars, Star Trek, Galactica, Space 1999, things like this, for me, was absolutely fantastic. But they always had huge mistakes about the future. For instance, no one talked about the internet. It would be the year 3000 and no internet. Okay. Even the screens of the computers, if you see them, they were like, whoa. There were no flat screens in the year 3000. Okay, so we will go back to those screens. And one thing that was always was going faster and faster to the far east of the corners of the universe. We never thought in the possibility, and if we don't need to go. And if we can establish our presence, our leadership presence, in a digital way. Things like Skype, things like Hangouts, Google Hangouts and things like this, are giving us the possibility to be close to the customer. It's like my Greek friend saying, every time I see the window of Skype popping up, I feel your presence. You are there, in a global room. We will be more and more like this. And the consumer is more looking for this kind of attention. It's not, he doesn't want to go to the shop to solve things. He wants things to come solved to him. And let me talk about millennials. I have two back home. They are crazy kids. So we have baby boomers, people that are more or less retiring nowadays. We have the X's, like my generation. We have the Y, but unfortunately they are competing with millennials. Many people talk about millennials being I's, and it's not. People with 20 few years are not digital natives. They are still migrants. Millennials, I call, they are born after, and in and after 2000, around, of course, are the true digital natives. They are the first true digital natives ever. These are the guys that never saw anything else, digital photography, digital film, digital sound. For them, it's normal. And they are so used to this They are, and they will change the world. They will change the world. They don't understand, for instance, things like that we do normally in companies that is going for 50 kilometers by car to talk, to present a product to a client and come back and do it in 15 minutes presentation. And we do 100 kilometers for that, for one customer, for one prospect. They don't understand. They don't understand the way we learn. Going to a place, stay, and there is somebody that is repeating the same over and over again. You can put it in another place, YouTube or whatever. Why he does that? Because it has been always like this. I remember my youngest kid, Miguel, once I offered him a skateboard. It was all completely in pieces. And there was some instruction. He knows that I'm bad at this. So he took that skateboard, and 1 hour after, perfect. I said, okay, so we follow the instructions. No, I need it open then. So how you did it? Oh, well, I went to YouTube and there was several videos how to put a thing together, and I did it. Because this generation is a generation that is saying, show me how to, not tell me how to. We, all of us, we are still used to that, tell me how to. But we are changing. If every time we want to solve a problem like this skateboard thing, we Google it or we YouTube it. If we are more YouTubing it, it's because we are coming into this generation. The thing is that it's very good that we are preparing. Because for many, many years, I have been saying the same. I was talking in the desert, shouting in the desert, saying, look, the wave is coming. The wave is coming. This actually is a real wave. You cannot see the size, exact size, but I can tell you. This is a wave that was pictured in Portugal. This is not a wave. We have a place where the waves have 30 meters. This is 30 meters. This guy is there is Gareth McNamara. Is an American guy that is like doing wonders for tourism in that particular area of Portugal. Because if you want to do the most crazy surfing ever in the world, there is a time of the year where we have this 30 meters wave. So he has to wear a special suit not to be crushed. Has like kind of special airbags. So I have been always saying the wave is coming. And the wave now is coming very close because of these guys, the millennials. They don't understand the way we work. They don't understand the way we learn. They don't understand the way we communicate. When they will start being our bosses, our teachers, our colleagues, we will be so. I have been warning people, and until now you couldn't see the wave so close. Now the wave is really close. But the problem is that I bet that if Gareth McNamara, that wave, looks in front, you can see the sea is calm. And people tend to look to the front and see it's calm. They prefer not to look back. They prefer wishful thinking. Everything will be okay. But when you have 30-meter wave, it will change all you know. Coming like that, you have two possibilities. Be crushed or ride over. I hope with this presentation, I give you a little bit of motivation for check out the wave. Thank you very much.